everybody, AtZ here, and today I want to talk about Marvel and the dynasty that they have created. And I'll start by saying that I am obviously a big DC fan. I love all of their comic storylines, but one, people have forgotten that you can like both of them and that's completely okay and legal. And two, you can also acknowledge when someone has become super successful with a formula, which is why I want to talk about why Marvel works in 5 minutes. Now, we all know Marvel properties are split between Sony, Fox, and Disney, and while I love me some X-Men, and I think Sony has pretty much lost everything already, we're just mainly going to focus on Disney/Marvel Studios, and having reason number one being their structure. You see, DC doesn't have their own film studio like Marvel does, who has partnered with Disney. DC belongs to Warner Bros. In the same way that would go for Sony and Fox. So unlike Marvel Studios, which can focus 100% on their storylines, there's a split over at Warner Bros. Between their DC properties and all of their other franchises, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or Scooby-Doo. So not only does Marvel have a better grasp on things, but they also have a guy named Kevin freaking Feige, who some of you may not know and think he just looks like that one dad who joins the PTA, but this dude is a beast. He's not only the godfather at Marvel Studios, but the man was even a producer in the first X-Men's and Spider-Man 2. So he's worked for Fox, Sony, and is now owning at Disney. And for a guy who's grossed over $9 billion doing what every 12-year-old boy wants to do growing up, he's supposedly a real cool dude. I haven't met him, but I like how he approaches his projects. Which brings us to point number 2. I like how they approach their projects. We've heard some weird choices from Marvel where we go, what in the world is a Tom Holland? And then he ends up being Spider-Man and we see that he's the best incarnation in less than 20 minutes of screen time. They even hire writers and directors who you've never heard of, they've never done superhero blockbusters, yet you notice that they aim to get people who know how to tell good stories and create great characters. Which, of course, brings us to point number 3, which is they tell good stories and create great characters. For a genre that's based off of funny books that only a fraction of moviegoers read, they're still able to get a lot of non-comic book readers to watch these movies. I mean, they got a bunch of people to go see a talking raccoon and a walking tree. What I love the most about the studio is that even with the limited amount of rights that they have to their heroes, unlike DC who has the rights to all of them, Marvel characters are split between 3 studios, yet they own what they have and even find perfect loopholes for some other characters. And if Fox has a better Quicksilver, boom, theirs is out of there. Nick Fury's got them covered anyways. I also believe that they have people sitting right next to their phones with spec scripts just waiting for some of the other characters to come back to them. Like, did you see how quickly they got Spider-Man ready and delivered? I wouldn't be surprised if they had their own Batman v Superman script lying around just for fun. And another thing that really helps them is their branding. Obviously they've had time to expand on it, but being able to have shows that connect with the movies in real time, or shows that do dive into the gritty side of things but not in theaters in the comfort of your own home, and oh yeah, having it all still be one universe instead of splitting up everything. Overall, if you know these characters, cool beans. But the key to their success is being able to get your grandma to want to see these movies twice. Point 4 is they're fun. Look, I know people toss that word around more than Wiseau tosses a football, but I believe you can find fun in dark stuff. I mean, I enjoy watching Enemy, so I don't see fun as being the equivalent to enjoyment. I believe what they really mean by that word is lighthearted. And lighthearted isn't a bad thing. If you can get families to take their 5.5 children to the theater and even the adults enjoy the movie, then you've got yourself some money. I also recognize that being less serious makes it easier for the audience to connect with your fictional, unrealistic characters. And while I like the contrast of grittiness on the other side, I also recognize that it's easier to make fun of those who take themselves too seriously. It's practically Internet 101. That's why I feel Marvel's missteps don't get blown out of proportion for the most part. What I mean by that is that there's obviously issues within Marvel. They have their duds, but they also make up for them. People complain about casting and diversity, not realizing that it's all about timing and not forcing diversity. Of course, things can get dull, like the abundance of CGI destruction, the various cliches that the entire genre suffers from, or what I hate the most, and that is feeling like there's no tension. I mean, superheroes never die, unless you're Quicksilver, and that's mainly due to contracts. But I also have to remember, if you were to truly kill off a character, then you can no longer continue their storylines that haven't been adapted, and you practically lose an entire audience that adores that character. So even for me who hates that and finds it to be one of the biggest issues with comic book movies, I understand the game they're playing. Maybe they're even building up so when the deaths do happen, they're even more impacting. Overall, the reason I feel Marvel works is because you can enjoy each property on their own and have a good time with it, but the best part is consuming it as a whole and being able to see the cinematic form of comic books. Thank you guys for checking out this video, and I'm looking forward to all the fanboyish comments that are going to be down below, but I also want to give a big shout out to all of my Patreon supporters who help me out on a monthly basis and get some really cool perks for only $1. I also again want to thank you guys for checking out this video, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on Marvel, your favorite character, movie, trivia facts that I didn't mention in the video down below in the comments section. And know that I am also working on one for DC, but that video is not going to come till later. We can discuss, however, anything dealing with Marvel, Feige, or anything dealing with movies down below in the comments section, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.